We have conquered the moon. We are reaching for Mars. We have built artificial intelligence that can do our work in seconds. We live in an era of endless information. Yet why are we starving for peace? Why does worldly knowledge make us rich but leave us empty? There is a secret difference between knowledge and wisdom. Schools teach us how to build a living, but spirituality teaches us how to live. One fills your pockets, the other fills your soul. But to bridge this gap, to turn mere knowledge into divine transformation, you must take a journey that logic cannot explain. Centuries ago, the Sufi mystic Malik Muhammad Diki Jayasi hid a divine map inside a love story. He spoke of Queen Padmavati and King Ratnasen. But this was no ordinary romance. The king is your soul, the queen is the divine, and between them lie the 7 deadly seas, from the burning ocean of salt to the intoxicating ocean of wine. Can you survive the crocodiles of your own attachments? Can you defeat the Alauddin Khilji of your own ego? Today, we decode the path from zero to infinite light. Welcome to the journey of wisdom and transformation.
Today's satsang is on wisdom and transformation and wisdom and worldly knowledge. In ordinary language, wisdom and worldly knowledge are understood to be the same thing. But in reality, wisdom and worldly knowledge are completely different. Where worldly knowledge is needed in life, wisdom is also needed. Until you have both worldly knowledge and spiritual knowledge is what is subtly called wisdom. Until you have both these knowledges, you cannot take the form of a complete being. It is necessary to have worldly knowledge, and it is also necessary to have spiritual knowledge. Worldly knowledge or material knowledge is what is given in schools, colleges, and universities. Spiritual knowledge is something a person compiles only through the grace of God and their own firm resolve. In reality, spiritual knowledge and wisdom are the true knowledge. This is what brings transformation in your life. This is what takes you to God. But material knowledge, worldly knowledge, is also extremely necessary. Worldly knowledge is practical knowledge. This is our mental knowledge. This mental knowledge has been given the name of worldly knowledge. We live in this world, so we must be fully familiar with worldly knowledge, otherwise, living in society will become very difficult for us. There are many benefits of worldly knowledge for earning a living. Whatever situation we are in today, it is because of this worldly knowledge. If you compare the conditions of 100 or 200 years ago with the situation today, there is a difference of earth and sky. Due to worldly knowledge, our life has become accessible in many forms. Every person has seen economic improvement in some form or another. It is through worldly knowledge that you get different types of systems. You become a doctor, engineer, scientist, or philosopher. Our education systems give us methods according to this knowledge. The education system teaches only worldly knowledge. The education system is based on worldly knowledge. Worldly knowledge increases our mechanical knowledge and also increases the knowledge of our body. It invents whatever medicine is needed for the treatment of various types of diseases. For this reason, the lifespan of humans has also increased. Worldly knowledge also leads to the economic improvement of society. Warfare systems have also developed due to worldly knowledge. Like earlier wars were fought with horses and elephants, now the system of war is completely different. One country attacks another country. Whoever has developed warfare art establishes their dominance and can expand their borders. All this has developed due to worldly knowledge. Due to worldly knowledge, a person can also go to other planets. Man has even reached the moon. Full efforts are being made to go to Mars as well. So there is no end to worldly knowledge. Worldly knowledge does not teach peace and brotherhood. It only increases a person's ego. Worldly knowledge is like ice. Just as ice melts after some time, worldly knowledge also becomes zero, and after that, a new system develops. The whole world runs according to this knowledge. All kinds of facilities increase. Material life is becoming easier every day. Agriculture has also progressed due to worldly knowledge. Chemical science has also increased. Computer knowledge has dominated the whole world. Worldly knowledge is also endless. Every person cannot learn all the knowledge in their lifetime. That is why every person's knowledge has a limit. Worldly knowledge has reached the atom through study. And from the study of the atom bomb has also been made. Every country remains in fear of another country that destruction might happen due to the atom bomb. This is the development of authenticated progress. Today's person cannot live without worldly knowledge. All work is done through the internet. You can talk to any person in the world in a moment. This is the progress of worldly knowledge. The mobile phone has become life itself. A person cannot live without a mobile even for a moment. With this worldly knowledge, translation from any language to another language can happen with great convenience. Weather information is also a progress of worldly knowledge. The whole world has become like a big village. Any person sitting in any corner of the world can record their thoughts. Their books are made, and whenever you want to listen on YouTube etc., you can listen. There is no need to sit in a hall to listen. All this is the progress of worldly knowledge. Earlier people used to travel on bullock carts and horse carriages, then cars came. Nowadays cars run even without drivers. All this is the progress of worldly knowledge. Worldly knowledge comes from mental knowledge. If you think deeply, the foundation of mental knowledge is connected to spiritual knowledge. Mental knowledge progresses only through consciousness. Behind material knowledge is spiritual knowledge. The progress of material knowledge happens through the knowledge of the mind. But what gives energy to the mind is consciousness alone. In other words, this is just another form of spiritual knowledge. The whole world lives in luxury. You can see different types of wonders all around. Robots have also been invented through worldly knowledge. Humans do not even need to work. The robot that man has made, through the development of his mind, or say through spiritual development, can do all the work. But it cannot think. Thinking comes from the mind, and behind the mind is the power of spiritual knowledge. The robot does all the work so efficiently that a person cannot do it with their own hands. Worldly knowledge has become endless knowledge. A human cannot learn every type of worldly knowledge in his lifetime. In the end, I will say only this about worldly knowledge, that our life is accessible because of worldly knowledge. This has become an integral part of our life. Without this, life has become rare. But this worldly knowledge depends on consciousness or spiritual knowledge. And no matter how much worldly knowledge there will be in the coming time, its foundation will be deeply based on spiritual knowledge. Because power comes only from spiritual knowledge, it comes from consciousness. If there is no consciousness in a person, then mental progress cannot happen at all. And without consciousness, a human cannot even remain alive. So this worldly knowledge, in other words, is the knowledge of God's power. If we go towards spiritual science, then this is self-knowledge. Worldly knowledge does not give us knowledge of the self. For this reason, facilities are obtained from worldly knowledge, but the person does not remain happy. He does not get mental peace either. Mental peace comes from spiritual knowledge. Divine powers develop. The unrest of the mind ends. People live with each other full of love. Arrogance also becomes zero through spiritual knowledge. Brotherhood increases. Spiritual knowledge comes from your own self. It comes from within you. No matter how much worldly knowledge someone has, if he does not have spiritual knowledge, then he can prove to be painful for others. Because without spiritual knowledge, a person can consider himself separate from others, and can also harm them. Spiritual knowledge is not found in colleges and universities. One has to earn this oneself. This is God's knowledge that humans receive. Spiritual knowledge teaches the art of making the mind zero. Spiritual knowledge teaches, who am I? When a person understands who I am, why I was born, then even while having worldly knowledge, he will try not to cause any kind of harm to anyone. He cannot cause harm at all. That is why spiritual knowledge is extremely necessary so that people can live with each other with love, and understand each other. If he remains only with worldly knowledge, then there is a full possibility of the war system increasing in the world. Spiritual knowledge comes only from the development of consciousness. It comes from devotion to God, it comes from the art of meditation. Spiritual knowledge can come from only two methods. One is that one should be completely dedicated to God. There should be surrender of the self completely to God. Or one should go into the state of meditation by compiling one's powers within oneself. Like there is a devotee and God. God is separate, the devotee is separate. The devotee has faith in God, he surrenders to Him. Slowly, the relationship between God and the devotee becomes the closest. And a time comes when the devotee cannot live without God. As you have experienced, Meera could not live without God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu merged into the devotion of Krishna. Akka Mahadevi merged into Mallikarjun, into Lord Shiva. This is complete surrender. And this is the method when a person can understand himself, why his life happened. This life of God and devotee is a life of walking on the circumference. The devotee slowly comes closer to God. And the bigger the circumference, the more time it will take. But if a person walks on the method of meditation, he reaches the center from the circumference, reaches the zero. By walking on the method of meditation, in a short time, if there is also the support of devotion, one can attain self-knowledge very soon. When he attains self-knowledge, then neither breath remains in him, nor mind remains. Only his consciousness merges into the Supreme Consciousness. It merges into zero. And zero is light. Light is inside too, and light is in the universe too. A spiritual person has knowledge of the self and also has full knowledge of the universe. He cannot harm anyone. He lives with everyone as a family. If every person lives as a family, then the maximum problems of the world will end. Then a person will not get into war. He will work only for the development of humans. Now you see, if light enters a prism, it changes into 7 colors. God's light is only one. We all have come from the same source. But when we understand that we all are one, although we are in 7 colors, we are different individuals. If we realize that our origin is one, then we can live in harmony. Self-knowledge teaches this. If a person learns this in life, this is the great transformation. When a person's perspective is like this, he experiences the witness within himself. God's devotion starts operating within him. By observing, just by inspecting, he can zero out the desires within himself. In this state, his consciousness develops. And when consciousness develops, it becomes known to him that his consciousness and every person's consciousness are all one. Shirdi Sai Baba had experienced this, that my consciousness is mixed with the consciousness of every devotee. That is why if anyone had pain, he used to feel pain within himself. Ravidas, Eknath, Nanak, Kabir, there have been so many great men who developed their consciousness. After the development of consciousness, they reached the state of samadhi or ecstasy. When they reached the state of samadhi or ecstasy, all the difficulties of life were solved. They experienced that the power inside them is the same power in every person. So whatever hatred was there towards others, it ended by itself. Emptiness came into their minds. Emptiness is the form of Shiva, that itself is Shava, or a corpse. When you remain in complete peace, thoughtless and in emptiness, only then the kundalini power or the power of Parvati can reach your Sahasrara chakra, and that itself will give you spiritual knowledge, and every kind of progress can happen in your life. All this is possible if you go into chanting practice, go into Kriya Yoga, and walk on the different types of spiritual methods. In the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is also revealed that by doing yam, niyama, pranayam, pratyahara, in the end, you can reach the state of samadhi or ecstasy. Only by this will knowledge increase, transformation will happen in life, and the whole world will become fully progressive and happy. To understand this method, there is a Sufi story. This story was written by the Sufi Fakir Malik Muhammad Jayasi. He spent 20 years of his life writing this story. He was from a farmer family. He was born a few decades ago. He lost one eye due to illness. He had smallpox marks on his body. There were smallpox marks on his face too. Once the king of Amethi called him to his court. He presented himself there. Since he did not have one eye, and had smallpox marks on his face, seeing him, the king laughed and his ministers also laughed. But he stood silently. He said only one thing, "You all believe in God, believe in Allah. This creation of mine, this is also a creation made by Allah, a creation made by God. I have not made this." The meaning is that you are laughing at the form that God has made. Hearing this, everyone's heads hung low and Malik Muhammad Jayasi was seated with respect. In time, he became very famous. Just as the kundalini power reaches the Sahasrara through different chakras, he realized this in another form and wrote a story on it. I am presenting this story to you in a brief form. He gave God the form of Padmavati. Padmavati means the form of God. Raja Ratnasen is the form of that soul. He was the king of Chittor. He took the form of the devotee of God as a parrot. Its name was Hiraman. Hiraman parrot told Raja Ratnasen about Padmavati, that he agreed to leave his kingdom to meet Padmavati. The meaning is, the devotee agreed to leave everything to meet God. In other words, the soul agreed to leave its world to meet the Supreme Soul. Since he was a king, his wife, Nagmati, was a worldly woman, very beautiful. But Hiraman Parrot described Padmavati's beauty so much that the king decided to leave Nagmati as well. This is a matter of supreme mystery. He became so advanced in the divine love of Padmavati that he did not feel any pain in leaving his kingdom of Chittor either. He became completely detached. He used to stay lost in the meditation of Padmavati. Padmavati means, in the worship of God. He moved completely towards God. His soul agreed to leave everything to meet the Supreme Soul. He left Nagmati as well. He came into complete detachment from the world. But Hiraman Parrot told him that reaching Padmavati is not so simple. Meeting God is not so simple. To go to Padmavati, one will have to travel across 7 seas. He said to the king, Ratnasen, if you have enough capability that you can travel across 7 seas, staying alone in darkness, without any facility, only then think about Padmavati. Otherwise, stay with Nagmati, stay in the world. But due to the grandeur of Padmavati that he had described, Raja Ratnasen could not live without Padmavati. He became mentally ready that I will travel across 7 seas staying alone in darkness. Perhaps this was Ratnasen's resolve from his past life too, such were his thoughts. Otherwise, no king can decide to go on a journey of 7 seas leaving attachment and illusion. But Ratnasen made a decision. His soul made this decision that I have to meet the Supreme Soul. So he went into the first sea. The first sea was a sea of salt water. There was no water to drink there either. Sea of salt water. When he reached it, every kind of attachment and illusion attacked him. Old thoughts came to him. It was his own decision that I have to go to Padmavati. So in the salt water, he faced snakes, faced crocodiles. He became bloodied. His body also started rotting. But he kept swimming in the salt water, kept swimming. And finally, when the time came that he was about to drown, life would end, but still he made this resolve that this is my own decision. If God, you meet me, then this will be my destiny. And slowly with his love and devotion, he crossed the sea of salt water. This is the journey of Muladhara for us, which he described as the sea of salt water. After this sea of salt water, Ratnasen did not even realize when he came into the sea of milk. When he came into the sea of milk, good thoughts came to him, life became simple. The health that was lost in the salt water, he got health again. And this milk was so pure and like nectar, that he forgot all his troubles. He started living peacefully in that sea of milk. When his journey of the sea of milk ended, suddenly he reached the sea of curd. A sea of curd was such where there were no thoughts in him, his mind became completely calm. The disorders of the mind also ended. Now he started feeling that he would be able to meet Padmavati. His resolve also became firm. Slowly he crossed the sea of curd as well. Now the fourth sea was in front of him. This was the sea of ghee. He means the sea of knowledge. When he reached this sea, the knowledge of God started coming into him after devotion. He started seeing the whole universe. With this knowledge, he understood himself. His self developed. He felt bliss. Slowly he crossed the sea of tea as well. Now many years had passed. After that, he came into the sea of honey. The sea of honey, this was a supernatural experience for him. It was impossible to compete with this. He felt sweetness had come into his speech as well. He started feeling that he is in the embrace of God. Padmavati is in his embrace. And after the sea of honey, just after some time, the sea of wine came. In Sufi language, wine is not alcohol, it is called love. Now he came completely into love towards Padmavati. And love itself is God. He became so engrossed in that love that he forgot his kingdom and everything. He had a supernatural experience. Now finally he reached Mansarovar. Here he sensed the image of the Supreme Soul. But till now he could not meet Padmavati. He could not meet God. Now that moment was just a little far. But at that same time, Alauddin Khilji, who was the king of Delhi, meaning the vices, different types of prostitutes, started causing him pain in the form of vices. And in the end, Alauddin Khilji took him prisoner. Because he wanted Padmavati to meet him. Who is Ratnasen to take her? I am the Emperor of Delhi. Ratnasen was arrested. Raghav Chetan was a priest who by gossiping manipulated Alauddin so much that he should cause pain to Ratnasen to get Padmavati. Padmavati was a supernatural form. She knew who the devotee is. The devotee is Ratnasen. This one wants to use her for grandeur. As soon as Padmavati realized this, she took Ratnasen out of his clutches. And Alauddin Khilji ran away struggling. Meaning all vices ended. All prostitutes left Ratnasen and went away. Padmavati embraced Ratnasen. The soul merged with the Supreme Soul. Devotee and God became one. And both of them met in such a way, as if the devotee remained no more, only God remained. And in some time, Ratnasen's spirit burnt to ashes in the fire of Padmavati's Johar. The meaning, the spirit and the Supreme Soul became one. Became light. And light is the great form of the Supreme Soul. Neither Padmavati remained, nor Ratnasen remained, nor love remained, only a light remained. This light is the complete union, when a person meets the Supreme Soul. The journey to meet the Supreme Soul is not a simple journey. The most difficult is the sea of salt water. After that is milk, curd, ghee, then the sea of honey and wine. In the end is Mansarovar. Then finally before the meeting, all kinds of lusts appear in front which confuse the person. This is the very difficult time. And in this God himself helps, just as Padmavati helped Ratnasen. And finally, he drowned in Mansarovar, drowned in love, and became luminous in the fire of Johar. So this is the path of spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is not such simple knowledge. It is obtained by passion for God, by devotion, and by complete firmness in God. And it is obtained only when God wants. Even if vices have trapped you, still Padmavati ends all vices and unites with him. And when this state comes, then you are one in the universe. This is the transformation of spiritual knowledge. Only through spiritual knowledge can a person become one with the Almighty. And there is no greater achievement than this. Through worldly knowledge, facilities are obtained for earning a living. But through spiritual knowledge, facilities are also obtained, the bliss of the universe is also obtained, liberation from life also happens, and the person becomes one with the Almighty. So we should try to walk on spiritual knowledge in life. Worldly knowledge is helpful in this, but our destination should be spiritual knowledge only. Thank you.